Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. This design was done using this script originally developed by Loren Sherman, and this script uses a combination of these 4 different shaped consonant stems in conjunction with dots and line modifiers to make the consonants. And vowels are always small circles, and they have 3 different positions. The O position, which is towards the middle or on the line of a consonant stem, so this kind of brownish circle. The E position, which is central, so it's on the line of the word circle, or it's in the middle of the consonant stem. And then the E position is also shared by the I and U. The difference with those is an I has a line going towards the middle of the word, where a U has a line going outwards, away from the middle of the word. And then the last letter is the A, which is outside the word circle. So anyway, those elements are the basics of how this script is made, and it makes more sense in practice, so let's go ahead and get to it. So here's our first word. You start reading at the bottom and then going counterclockwise, like a time traveler going back in time. And our first letter is this little circle, which is a vowel, and it's got a line going towards the middle. So that's an I, like this. A line going towards the middle, I. Our next word here starts with another vowel, and that vowel is outside the word circle, so it's an A. And continuing around, here's our next letter, and it is inside the word circle. It's this consonant stem, and it has 3 lines ending on it. 1, 2, 3 lines. So that makes it an M. So I am, and then we have a comma on the sentence circle here. There's another comma here too, so they're the filled in dots on the sentence circle. Our next word here also starts with an A, just like that one. And its next letter is very similar to the M, except it only has 1 line ending on it, not 3. So that's an N. And then there's a deep divot here, which is this shape, the omega shape. And there are 3 dots by it, so that's a D. 3 dots, deep divot is a D. 1, 2, 3. So A and D. And then our next word, A, outside the word circle. Continuing around, here is our next letter. It's a consonant, and it's inside the word circle, just like these two. And there are 1, 2, 3 dots near that as well. So the dots don't have to be along the outside like this. They can be speckled throughout, as long as this is the closest viable stem. And even though this stem is pretty close to that dot as well, this stem isn't viable because it already has 1, 2 line modifiers on it, and you can't have both lines and dots. So 1, 2, 3 lines on this L. And then we have a W with 1, 2 lines on a shallow divot. Another A outside the word circle. And it's important that this line ends on the word circle here and doesn't go all the way to the A, because then it would look kind of like an I with a line on it. And then we have this circle on the line of the word circle stem with 2 dots making it a Y. 1, 2. And then our last letter here is another shallow divot like the W, but with 1, 2, 3 lines. So that's an S. So like the W, but with 3 lines instead of 2. So ALWAYS is always. Our next word here starts with a shallow divot with 2 lines, so it's another W just like this one. And then we have an I with a line going towards the middle, and then 1, 2, 3 dots on this letter. And this is a double letter. It's got 2 lines around it, those 1, 2 thin lines, and because they're the same thickness, it's the same letter twice. So that would be a double L with those 3 dots. Oh, and lines that pass through consonant stems do not count. So like this line passing through here doesn't count. They only count when they end on the circle. So yeah, anyway. So this line doesn't count, but those 3 dots count. So WILL is will. Our next word is a BB here, deep divot, with no modifiers. And then an E, little circle all by itself. And then we have the comma. TH is 1 shape, it's a circle on the line of the word circle, like this. And then we have an E, so THE. And then our last word here, an O, little vowel inside the word circle. Continuing around, this is not a letter in this word. It's another piece of punctuation because it's on that sentence circle. This is the period at the end of this sentence. So anyway, O, and then our next actual letter is this one, which has 1, 2 lines on it, so that's a P. And then continuing around, here's a T, shallow divot, no modifiers, I, line going towards the middle. Another M with 1, 2, 3 lines on it. This one from the I doesn't count because it doesn't end on the M. Anyway, I, and then S has 1, 2, 3 lines on it, and then a T. And it's important that this line ends on this thicker line, this line decoration, and not on the T, because if there were one line on it, it would be a V. We need to keep it a T with no modifiers. So OPTIMIST is optimist. So this first part of the quote is I am, comma, and always will be, comma, the optimist, period. And the next part of the quote is here. This is another THE, just like that one. And then we have a deep divot, so this stem with 2 lines on it. 1, 2, 1, 2 lines on it. And then we have an O inside the word circle. This is a P, 1, 2 lines, an E, and then 3 dots on this 1, 2, 3 dot R, so Hopper. Then we have an O and then an F, 1, 2, 3 lines on that F. And then our next word here, we have another deep divot with 1, 2, 3 lines. That's an F, same as that F. And then we have an A. And then we have 1, 2, 3 dots on this shallow divot, making it an R. So 3 dots, shallow divot, R. And then we have this here in the middle, which looks like it could be one of these circle inside the word circle stems, but if we look closely, it actually ends there and it ends there on this stem. So these are just more line modifiers, sneaky line modifiers, but line modifiers. So not an actual letter. And the next thing we hit are these 1, 2, 3 parallel lines. And 3 parallel lines are a hyphen. So we have FAR hyphen, and then we have this deep divot with 1, 2, 3 lines. So that's another F, just like this F with 1, 2, 3, and this F with 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 lines in on it, and then we have this L with 1, 2, 3 dots with a U inside it, which has a line going outwards. And it's kind of tricky to tell the difference between a letter inside the letter, like an LU or a double letter. It's about the spacing between the circles, so because these two are both towards the outside, whereas this one has one towards the outside and one in the middle. It's different. Anyway, so LU, and then our last letter is another circle on the line of the word circle, just like the THs, except it has 1, 2, 3 lines on it, so that's an NG. So FAR hyphen FLUNG, so far flung. And then we have this deep divot with 1, 2 lines on it, these sneaky little guys. And then an O, and then 1, 2 lines on the P with an E. And then this shallow divot has 1, 2, 3 lines on it. And it's important that these lines from the hyphen don't end on the S, otherwise you'd have too many lines on the S and the hyphen wouldn't look like a hyphen. So HOPES, comma. So the hoper of far-flung hopes, comma, and then our last little bit, we're almost done, starts here with this word. It's an A at the bottom, an N with 1 line, and then 3 dots on the D. So and, just like this and then we have T, and then we have an H with 2 lines on it, and E, so THE, which is another way of writing the. Instead of a TH with an E, you can do the T, the H, and the E, so the. And then our next word here, and this is the bottom, and it starts with this deep divot. There's actually a whole nother word inside that deep divot, but we'll get to that afterwards, because we would hit this word next, continuing along the flow. So we have 1, 2, 3 dots very much closer to it, but this dot is kind of a tricky one, because there's like these 4 dots and then these 2 dots, but we want to know which dots go where. And this dot's actually much closer to this letter than it is to that letter. So this has 1, 2, 3 dots with it, so that's a D. But this has 1, 2, 3 dots on it, so that's an R. So D, and this is another R with 1, 2, 3 dots. R, E, A. And then we have this M with 1, 2, 3 lines on it, and E in the middle of that. And then we have this R with 1, 2, 3 dots on it. So dreamer. And this is another word of, O-F, just like this O-F. So dreamer of, and then our big word here starts with an I, and then we have this thing here, 1, 2 circles stacked. And this is like a double letter, except one letter is thicker than the other letter. They're not in the same thickness, so they're not the same letter. So you'd read the thin letter first, and then the thick letter. And this thin one has these 1, 2, 3 lines ending on it. So that's an M, just like this M with 1, 2, 3 lines on it. Then we have a P, 1, 2 lines on it, and then another R with 3 dots. O, this is a deep divot with a bunch of lines passing through it, but nothing ending on it. So that's just a B. A, outside the word circle. and a B here, just like that one, and then another L with 1, 2, 3 dots, and then an E on the line of the word circle. So IMPROBABLE is improbable. And then our last word here, at the bottom here, even though this doesn't start directly at the bottom, it still crosses that bottom line. So this is our first letter here. 1, 2, 3 dots makes that a D, just like this D with 3 dots. Another R, E, A, 1, 2, 3 lines on the M, and then this shallow divot with 1, 2, 3 lines is an S. So DREAMS is dreams. So altogether, this is the hoper of far-flung hopes, comma, and the dreamer of improbable dreams. So one more time for the top is, I am and always will be the optimist, the hoper of far-flung hopes, and the dreamer of improbable dreams. And that's your design. I hope you like it. Bye.